Hey guys, welcome back to my Lifeyt. Today we got in one of our packages. It's our 40 series clutch. So we're going to open this up and we're going to go through it, and then we're going to put it on Goliath, start setting up the chains and getting her ready. So stay tuned for that. So we got this cut open. I haven't opened it yet, so we're going to take a look at it. This is the cheapest one they had on eBay, so we'll cross our fingers that it's decent. Alright, so it looks like we got some foam. I think we got the plastic torque converter cover. That'll be nice. Keep the leg out of it while we're riding. We got the belt. Like a bag of bolts. Maybe the sprocket in there also. Here's the driver clutch. The backer plate and the driven clutch. Like I said, this was the cheapest one they had on eBay. I think it was $175 with the backer plate. Looked like it was probably a stamped steel plate or something. Oh, it's actually heavier duty than I thought. I was really afraid that this was going to be a thin stamped steel piece. Hold on, I'll get you zoomed in. If you look at it, so I can set up for number 40 chain. It's only got the 4 bolt holes though, which worries me because I don't know if that's going to fit on Goliath. Not sure. Looks like it's a 5/8 shaft. So I'm going to come up there and grab the camera, give you a close-up view of this, just to show you what the backer plate is. And driver clutch. This is awesome. Alright, so this is our 40 series clutch. As you can see, sprockets in here. Man, it looks like this is probably maybe just shy of a quarter plate. I don't have a tape measure right here, but that is a heavy duty backer. Plus it also has two, gosh, those are probably 7/16 heavy duty rods that are welded on here, and then 2 braces coming down to the plate here, and then 2 braces also on the back. So man, I mean, by just looking at this thing is going to be nice. This should be plenty strong enough for our 18 horse V twin. I mean, we shouldn't bend this or anything. This should be awesome. Yeah. So let's go ahead and get started, get putting this on. I'm going to check the hardware to see if the hardware in the kit actually fits our motor. I know I've ran into problems with that before where the hardware that is sent out with the kits does not fit on our motor, so I'm going to double check that out and get this thing put on. Also, on a side note, we got a new camera. Definitely liking it. There's lots of settings and lots of things, so our next few videos will be tweaking on that and getting it set up to make good videos. So in the past I was using phones and whatever I could get my hands on, so hopefully this new camera will up the level of our videos a little bit. So let me know, leave us a comment down there and let us know how these look. So So we got our 40 series torque converter on here. It did have the right hardware for the backer plate and I mean the cover, whatnot. it didn't have the right bolt for the end of our crankshaft, but our crankshaft is a tapered crankshaft, and I have to adapt this somehow. And honestly, there's no way, I can't just grind the crankshaft down to 1 inch, because the clutch assembly is pushed away from the engine far enough to where I don't even have to put the clutch on here. So I'm gonna have to get some kind of adapter made to go from this tapered shaft to go into my clutch assembly. Also, I'm gonna bring you in a little closer. All right, so what I want to show you here is I have 2 gears here. I'm going from the one on the backer plate is a 12 tooth up to a 24 tooth, back down to another 12 tooth, and then back to a 66 tooth. And I believe I did the math, and it was going to do like 28 miles an hour tops, I believe is what it came up with. Well, no, actually I couldn't actually find the calculator for this setup. What I had to do was go from the 12 tooth to the 66 tooth, and then I decided that if I went from a 24 to a 12, that should, in my mind, it cuts it in half. So the 12 to the 66 with a 31 inch tire was like 58 miles an hour or something. And then when I went and then I divided that in half, going from the 12 to the 24. I believe that's how it's going to work. So hopefully that'll give us a good number. That's about where I'm looking at in the 20, maybe 30 tops. Should be fine. But anyways, so as I said, the hardware on this was good. It bolted onto there. I got this to here. I have these 2 sprockets. I tightened that one up. Let's see if I can find the... Of course, I don't have the right Allen wrench in here. Anyways, this sprocket has a very large collar on it, and so I'm going to have that machined down, because these sprockets have to be as close together as they can for this chain going to the back wheel to match up properly and not be out of alignment. I wish this backer plate allowed me to move this sprocket on the inside here to the back side, but the way that this one's actually set up, it has a machined shaft that won't allow me to do that. So I have to leave it here. It pushes everything out farther. It's a pain in the butt, but I'm gonna deal with it. It's the cheapest one they had, and you know, by the time I've sent it back or whatever, you know, it's not gonna be worth it. So also with talking about that is that this cover sticks out here a long ways, and there's 2 sets of bolts in the bottom of the motor that I actually had to push the motor that way to the other set of holes, which is like another inch. So you know, that kind of offsets my weight to that side. I hope it's not too big of a deal, but you know, what I'm actually considering doing is right up here in this front corner of the frame. See if I can move you back far enough to see it. I'm considering I'm going to put this cover on here, and then I'm going to try to put the battery right in that little corner, which will offset the little bit of weight that I pushed to that side. So, alright, we're going to move on from this though. This is going to need some machine work. So I'm going to move off of it and move on to hooking up the front brake. I've already, well, we'll get into that. So keep watching. I'll show you moving on to the front brake. Alright, so this afternoon what we're doing is we finally got our brakes in. And so I need to make brackets for these. And so what I'm going to end up doing is, these are like a scooter brake. They're probably not the best brakes for this. Probably use some hydraulic brakes or something, but we're going to give these a shot. Anyways, these are for a scooter. They have a spring-loaded bracket on here to make sure that the brake caliper stays centered and everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the 2 bolts out that hold the caliper bracket on. I'm going to trace those onto paper. gonna get them to fit correctly, and then I'm gonna transfer that to my flat bar to actually make my bracket. So let's get started on that. And that's the bracket that we gotta trace, but we gotta, you know, we're still gonna end up cutting off part of it. I'll zoom in a second. So we traced it like this. I needed this inside arc and then the 2 bolt holes where the mount actually goes. So we're gonna go ahead and cut that out. Put the brake caliper back together, and then we're gonna make sure that this bracket would fit if it was made into a steel bracket. Once we figure out that it would fit, we will go ahead and transfer it onto the steel, and we'll go ahead and cut that out. So actually there is a front and rear, so I don't know if these are the same or not. Let me double check. I think they might actually work a little different. Yeah, so there's actually a right and a left of these, so my brackets are gonna have to be right and the left. So I'll have to do one template this way and then flip it over when I cut the other one, otherwise they're not gonna fit right. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this back together, and then our bracket would sit underneath of here. Whoop, I dropped it. Something like that. I don't have the holes in it obviously, but and this curve right here, it's not symmetrical, and the bolt holes aren't symmetrical, so I have to follow the pattern to get it to fit. All right, so this looks like it's gonna work. So I'm just gonna go ahead and transfer it over here. I'm actually gonna leave. I'm gonna keep it like this. I'm going to keep it down this way, that way it leaves extra material on the top side, that way I'll be able to fasten to that. So quick tip on this is drill your holes and cut your notch in here before you cut this off of the big plate. You know, if you cut that off, it'll give you a little more control. I can hold this whole piece instead of trying to hold this little tiny piece. So I'm just gonna, I'll notch that and I'll drill the 2 holes first. So here's our 2 finished brackets. Mount up really nicely. This is gonna be our disc for our brake rotor. What I did is I have a friend that helped me out, cut these out of stainless steel. What I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to slide them onto an axle, and I'm going to weld a collar on each side of this. This is a 1-inch hole, so it'll fit tight, but I'm going to weld a collar to each side of it so that I can use the set screws to set it in place. But why I wanted to show you this was that these brake calipers don't actually fit over my heavy-duty rotor. So what I'm going to have to do on that is I'm going to take, this one I already broke loose. Those are pretty tight screws, but I'm going to take these out, take these 2 screws out, and then what I have to do is I have to make a small spacer to go between the outer brake pad and the inner brake pad. There's basically, I got to make a little spacer that goes between these 2 so that it's wide enough, there's a wide enough gap in it to fit over my brake rotor, which, you know, these are pretty small brake pads, pretty small, but my mini bike, I'm not trying to make it go fast. I'm doing about 25 miles an hour. I've put these on go-karts before and they work fine, so I'm hoping on this application they'll work fine also. So I'm gonna work on doing that. I'm just gonna just make a little plate to go in there. Nothing too fancy. A couple holes in it, make it easy on myself, and alright guys, so there's our brake caliper, our brake rotor. So the cable comes through this and then pulls on this like that. I tack welded my bracket on here I thought I pushed record on the camera, but I didn't, and then I put a weld back there. I'm gonna have to get the rotor and the caliper off of it so I can finish welding it up. It was throwing BBs on everything, but that's how our setup is. It'll just be welded right in that corner. Fits in there really nice. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that stuff apart and get it welded up. All right, so we're working on getting our front brake hooked up. There was a bracket here that I cut off and ground off. I got the grip here. It's going to be a really tight fit. Actually, I'm going to have to probably take this off and put something on it because I'm never going to get it on there all the way. I'm probably just going to use some Windex, shove this on here. So what I decided to go with on this front brake was it's a scooter style brake, but it uses basically a bicycle style brake handle and everything and cable. So I ordered some brake handles, but I do have a couple bicycle ones. They're old and crusty looking, but they'll work for now, testing purposes, whatever. Until the other ones come, I want to get it hooked up. Trying to get as far as I can on this because I also want to get the throttle hooked up and just get it as far as I can. I'm probably gonna have to wait on my machine work. I got a friend that's gonna help me out with that, but it's gonna be the next video. So but if I can get everything done that I can, we can keep moving forward. So I'm gonna use and hook up with those brakes and that brake lever that I have. So let's grab that. Alright, like I said, this is an old crusty brake handle. I'm going to go ahead and put this on. So I'm sitting on the bike so I can make sure that it's comfortable, make sure that it's in the right place. And I could have painted this one up, but I actually ordered a new one, so they're on their way, but I want to get it fabbed up with this one. So alright, so now we're at the bottom part of our brake here, and these are really simple brakes. Your cable goes through this hole here, and then this is a cable will go through this one. Got a little hole in here on the back side. Out that way, so cable's going down through this one. It kind of locks into that spot. Slide it through this. Alright, so then we make sure that it's good at the top. We'll grab it with a pair of pliers. Make sure it's snug, and just go ahead and tighten it up. Yeah, find a different ratchet. This one sucks. Alright, and then right there, moves it and pulls it tight. You can see it moving the lever. It doesn't move it a whole lot because there's, it's tight on the brake caliper back here. So, working good though. Not able to move now. So, cool. Alright guys, Goliath's coming right along. We got our brakes on, our brake bracket in the front, our caliper bracket in the front. We got our 40 series, the backer plate bolted on, and like I was showing you, the sprockets need a little machine work. I also got to do something with this tapered shaft, so I'm going to cut this video here, cut my footage so I can go out to my buddy's house, get that machine work done, and get it back here so I can get your next video going, and we can get this thing running. So I'm gonna cut it here. We'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, that notification button, give us a thumbs up, leave us a comment, let us know what you think. We'll see you in the next one.